date is ready.
Oh, wow, awesome.
Dad, helpful hint number 2. Don't talk like a doofus.
What, doofus? What?
Dad, Awesome's been out since Brooke Shields said it on the Bob Hope special.
Right on.
I give up.
Hey, wait a minute. Angela, I'm not sure about this. I mean, what am I going to say to those frat guys?
You could always tell them about me.
Yeah, I could tell them you're living in a convent in Paraguay.
Hey! Hi! So, where are you guys going tonight?
To a college fraternity party.
No, really, where are you going?
Hello, welcome back to
College Joe here. Hey, yo. Oh, hey.
the Who's the Boss podcast.
I tried to surprise you with something.
You did. Yeah, I was
Okay,
surprised.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, I thought you didn't know what was going on. I'm Tori.
I was just saying things.
Right.
I'm Kevin.
We are here to rewatch and discuss every single episode of Who's the Boss. So before we get into the episode, I don't have any news, but I wanted to talk about the open a little bit because there are 2 new clips in the open for season 5.
Oh, all right.
The first one is Tony Micelli, jumping over a bush outside to get to class on his campus.
Oh, my gosh. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't think we actually ever
though.
see it in the show unless it was in last week's episode or this episode and cut out.
Yeah, we just didn't notice it.
I can't remember.
That's true, too. It could have been cut out.
Because remember, he was late for class that morning, so
right.
Maybe
that was.
Maybe the
That's
original
hilarious,
broadcast had like him outside running to the classroom, but it was cut for syndication.
Oh, that's classic Tony right there.
And then the
it.
second one is a new clip of Jonathan, and it's from this episode. So now when the plate comes up, that's not the right word, is it? I don't know, his name.
Plate?
Nameplate?
Oh, well, yeah, his name.
Chiron.
In news, it's lower third
Right.
or whatever. I don't really know what it's called.
When his name comes up.
Nameplate, we'll take that. That might be right.
From this episode, it's him coming out asking them.
That's right.
Where are you going? Which is the clip we played at the beginning. So he got an updated one, but Samantha is still her scene from season 4, episode 1, I think, when she comes in to interrupt Angela, right when she's going to say, I love you. And I wonder why Alyssa Milano didn't get an updated one, because she looks quite a bit older, too.
Yeah, I guess so, but maybe not as old
yes,
as much
Jonathan
as him.
really does look older here for this season. So, yeah.
But God forbid they update the open every year. You know what I mean?
I know.
They spent all this time shooting an entire 24 episodes. You think they could update?
Yeah, but you do get attached to the open of a show.
That's true. Yeah, I guess you don't want to get too crazy with it. But I think, but I do think even back then, people like seeing new shots.
Yeah, so it is nice to pepper in some new ones as they go along. And we should probably do a better job of keeping track of what they're going to keep adding as we go into the later seasons.
I know, and you know what? I have a bad habit of fast forwarding right through the open to get to the show.
Yeah, me too.
So you're right. We should pay more attention and make sure that we're noting all the changes.
Now with everything having a skip intro
on
streaming platforms, I feel like people
we don't have that option with this show.
No, but most streaming platforms have that now. So
right, but I would just always think that the open of the show is the same, and I just get past it, and I want to get to especially in antenna TV, because they run the open and then they run 5 minutes of commercials. So I always know I just got to fast through like 6 minutes of stuff to get to the episode.
But I wonder if people who make show opens now hate the skip intro, because they put a lot of work into that, and I feel like it's not going to have the link. Like, the Cheers open. There are opens from shows, Mad Men, that you just are stuck in your head.
Well, do you think the person who made the Cheers open is mad now?
No, I'm saying for present day shows. You're never going to get attached to the open of a show anymore because you're skipping it. Like, did we even? I think we watched.
I get what you're saying.
When we watched The Flight Attendant and Ted Lasso, for example.
Right.
I think there was one time where we actually sat and watched the open of the show.
I feel like with The Flight Attendant, it was later, and we were like, "Oh, this is the open." Yeah,
this is the actual. Oh, we forgot to hit skip intro. This is what the open.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And that's the world we live in now.
Right.
We're
that's
this
what I'm saying.
impatient society. We cannot watch the forget that open. We
Yes.
got to get to the show. Which
Skip intro. So
know.
it'll be interesting to see like
that's a good point.
younger kids now when they are older, the shows that they're attached to, are they going to remember the open?
We shall see.
Yeah. Okay. Oh wait, do I do anything else? No, we said
I
who
don't
we
know. I think
are. We
we-
said why we're here. Okay. So when this episode opens, Mona is also.
No. We haven't done.
Oh, you're right.
My God, what
Hang
are you
on,
doing?
I
I
don't
didn't know
know
if you meant like anything else.
No. Yes.
I have
right.
two.
Okay.
I have two summaries
Okay,
to
so,
read. You have
and I didn't
yours.
even say what episode we're doing.
I
So
know, nothing.
It's season 5, episode 3. This episode is called 19 Again. It first aired on Tuesday, November 1st, 1988. Why do I feel like we've been in 1988 for a very long time?
I
We're
know.
almost out of it.
Because I feel like maybe last season
Yeah, like most of
entered
it.
1988.
Yeah,
and
most
then-
of it was in 19,
yeah.
and now this part is still is. Okay, Angela makes a big splash at Tony's first frat party after dipping into the spiked punch. Yeah, that's a lot to be desired there.
All right.
Okay, you go.
Okay, I have two. The first one is Tony and Angela decide to attend a fraternity party. Little did they know that at the end of the night, they would both be in jail. Angela and her drunk behavior, and Tony for trying to help her escape from an interrogation room.
That's actually not true. That's not what happened.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't go in an interrogation room.
No, well, she tried to escape. He stopped her. He was trying to stop her.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, forget that one. And here's the second one. And the second one I'm going to read, and I never reveal the name of the person who writes these, although all you have to do is go to Internet Movie Database and find out. This is the person who I read pretty much every week.
Right, yeah.
So it's Mona pushes reluctant Tony to accept a party invitation from a fraternity. Even Angela admits she missed out on much of the social life as a student and accompanies Tony. It all seems rather dull until Angela gets drunk on heavily spiked punch. Her misbehavior even gets Tony arrested by campus police with her and spells consequences for the whole frat. It's not wrong.
No, it actually isn't. It's very succinct, and it's better than the one that was in the TV guide.
Yeah.
You barely got anything.
Yeah.
But none of these say Judith Light shows us how much of a badass she is. Because
Drunk.
that's really what this episode is. It's the Judith Light showcase half
it is.
hour of this
is.
episode. Because she's fantastic in this. Okay, it was written by John Donnelly and Clay Graham. They've written episodes before. We've mentioned them, so I'm not going to go into it again. Now, when the episode opens, I'm just,
No,
come on. How much
let's
time
go.
can we spend on these two guys?
I
They've
know.
written a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
When it opens, so Mona's sprawled out on the couch, and she's like, oh, what a day at the office. I'm so exhausted. And Angela's standing behind her at that little table where the telephone is, and she's like,
Where the telephone constantly moves around.
right. She's like, Mother, you answered 6 phone calls. And Mona says, I know, and they kept waking me up.
Mona, what an awful employee Mona.
I know. So
what are we gonna do?
in the episode before this one, she flat out told Tony she wouldn't hire him because of the way he speaks. Yet
Meanwhile,
she
she's got
hired
this
her
slacker.
mother, right, who's asleep half the day and is woken up by phone calls. You see this on the table behind them? It's like a behind Mona and next to Angela. It looks like a candy dish, but
I can't tell
so
what that
80s
is.
looking. I think it must be a candy dish.
Well, I like that there's something in front of the fireplace, like with a really large top hat saluting.
Well, they're really large.
You can't see it in your thing. Can you see that? Like behind
Oh,
He's
yes.
like this. It's like
it's
Abraham
like a little
Lincoln, or I don't know what the hell it is. And it's saluting.
Oh, Angela's decor. Angela's going through the mail, and she notices that there is a letter for Tony from a fraternity. She's like, ooh, Delta Gamma or Pi Delta
Pi
Gamma.
Delta Gamma, no less.
No less.
is
Yeah,
what she
they must
says.
be the popular guys.
All right, that's the big ones.
And Mona says, if it's for me, tell them I already gave. But Angela's like, no, it's for
Terrible.
Tony. And she really wants to know what's in there. She's like, I wonder what they could want. She walks over to a light to go turn it on to see if she can peer through the envelope. And Mona tells her, I actually find this other light better, and points her in the direction of the writing desk by the front door.
I know.
So
So she runs over there.
Yeah, as Angela's running over there, Tony happens to come in the front door. So she stops and turns around. He walks through the door and he says, "Hello, ladies. Joe College is home."
And then he starts dancing.
And then he says, "Hubba
What is that
hubba,"
dance?
and I think that's the Charleston, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, I think it is. Your brother. So stupid.
He starts doing the Charleston. She's doing the Charleston behind him. He said hubba hubba. She says hubba hubba to you too.
Okay.
So I looked up Joe College.
Right, I was going to ask you. Yeah, I know you did.
So there's actually a book called Joe College, but it wasn't written until the year 2000. But the term Joe College just means like a guy everybody likes on campus.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Even when I heard him say Joe College, I'm like, that's got to be what that means.
And then for me, I always thought hubba hubba was like a cat call.
Yeah, like hubba hubba.
Right, but it's really just when you're excited to see someone.
Really?
That's what it said. Mm. So, because I was like, why is he saying hubba hubba about himself? Like,
hubba.
Joe College is home and he's hot, ladies.
Hubba hubba.
Yeah. So
that's
why I had to look that up. So yeah, okay. So they're excited, everyone's excited, and they kind of look ridiculous. So he says to Angela, "What's up with you?" And she's like, "Nothing. I was just leafing through the mail and I found that this one's for you." And she hands it to him. And he's like, "Why didn't you steam it open?" And Mona says, "We didn't have enough time."
At least she's honest.
She is. So instead of opening it himself, he just throws it on the writing desk and goes to do some other stuff. And she's like, why aren't you going to open it? It's from Pi Delta Gamma. And he's like, "I know. It's an invitation to go to their rush party. They've been bothering me all week, and these frat guys just don't take no for an answer."
They don't. And then.
To which Mona says, she just starts laughing.
Right.
Okay.
And then he says, "Mona, not a word."
I know. So
because we don't want to know any of Mona's.
I know, but
frats,
yes, her sexcapades. But also, there was a time where I guess she could just make a joke about frat guys not saying no, and it's funny.
Right, which is right.
Right, like that's such a dated joke. You would never ever hear anything like that today.
Yes, but yeah.
Because they're basically saying,
yes,
you're going to have sex with a frat guy. Because he's not going to take no for an answer.
They don't ever take no for an answer.
Right.
But like Mona wouldn't say no. So
right.
I think that's the joke there. But I understand what you're saying. Yes, at the time.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, you would never hear that joke today.
Right, because
it's it basically is like a date rape joke.
Right, it's a rapey joke.
Right.
Right.
But yes, of course Mona chimes in there. But you're right, Mona's never going to say no anyway. So.
Right, that's why she laughs.
Right.
Like, oh, they really?
They're probably trying to say no to her, and she won't let them.
Oh, God. She's a grandma.
Although no one says no to Mona. In this
true.
universe, Mona is, everybody wants Mona. It doesn't matter their age or their gender or anything.
Right.
Okay. So he says, yeah, Mona, not a word. And then Mona's like, you can miss weddings, you can miss funerals, you can miss buses, but you cannot miss a fraternity party.
No way. He's
like, I got tons of homework to do. I have to wash the kitchen floors, and I'm going to can some preserves this weekend.
Wait a minute. I get I got to clean the kitchen floor. Can some preserves?
Yeah.
Like, what is the whole household going to do without those preserves? Like,
they're not going to have jam for the rest of this season.
And I want to know if that's on Angela's list of duties that he has to do. He has to can the preserves.
No, I feel like that Tony does for himself. And then he probably gives some of them away to other moms at the PTA meetings. And
he
stuff.
Shows up with his little preserves.
Yep, a little box of preserves.
All right.
And then Mona says, "Who are you, Aunt B?" And I had to look that one up because I didn't remember. But she was from the Andy Griffith Show.
Okay, yeah. And I remember once you said that, you looked at
Yeah.
it, like who you said she was. I remembered Aunt B.
Tony tells her, "I'm going to college to study and learn and to get an education." And Angela says, "You sound like such a bore."
Coming from Angela.
I know. And Mona says she should know. And Angela says, "You're right. I do know because I did the same thing and I never got my nose out of the books, never came out of the library stacks. And I would look at all the other kids and I'd be so envious that they had this like youthful, reckless abandon and they were going to do stuff on Fridays and I wasn't." So Tony's like, "Oh, you mean like when I see them as I'm leaving on Friday and they're out there with their Frisbees and they don't have a care in the world and they've got their stereos blasting." and pizzas are being delivered. She's like, yeah, that. And he's like, no, it never crossed my mind.
Right.
This is making me miss college.
Yeah.
Except all I did in college was sit on a picnic table outside of our apartment building and smoke cigarettes with a bunch of people.
You never ate pizza? Or threw frisbees?
I'm sure. No, I never threw frisbees.
But did you see people throwing frisbees?
Yeah, I guess so. But I wasn't envious of those people. I just wanted... the pizza I would have been envious of. But it also explains why I had to spend an extra 6 months or a year in college.
Oh,
I finally got my act together. Okay. So Angela tells him, listen, you just got to take time to smell the pepperoni.
The pepperoni.
She says, don't make the same mistake I made. You're only a college freshman once. This really could have all gone in a different direction for Angela once Tony started college. Because, like, what if he did just start college, make a whole new group of friends, like meet some other girls that he liked or other women around his age.
Just bang his way through college.
That would have been it for this show.
I know. That would have been the end of it. He probably would have gotten kicked out.
But Tony says, I can't join a frat. I'm too old. And he's like, I mean, I am oozing boyish charm, but I wouldn't fit in. And she says, you would fit in anywhere. You're a regular social Lego. I thought that was a really cute line. You're a social Lego.
Social Lego. I didn't actually catch that one.
Yeah, which...
Is that a thing? I'd have
never heard of that before. I didn't.
Oh, I wonder what that means.
I mean, well, Legos fit in many different
I know,
places.
But I feel like it's an actual...
Yeah, maybe it is. But whoever wrote that, I thought that was very clever. So he's like, really? You think no? I mean, can you really? No. And then Mona says, it's not Sophie's choice. Will you just go to the damn party?
I know. That's Mona just really puts it in perspective.
And she's right. It's just a party, Tony. You don't even have to join. Now, personally, going to a party like that sounds like a nightmare to me. But to somebody like Tony, it may sound like a good time.
Yeah, sounds fun to me.
He says, what's the worst thing that could happen? And Angela says, I'll be your date. And Mona says, there's your answer. But that's so cute that she just volunteered to be his date and that she felt comfortable enough to not think that he was going to ask anyone else to go to this with him. And he was like, okay, great. Thank you for being my date. So now it's the night of, and he's getting himself ready, standing in front of the mirror. This time he's not doing A-E-I-O-U, but he is standing in front of the mirror again. Second episode in a row.
I know. And the first thing I thought is that the only freaking mirror in the house? Like, why is everybody always standing in front of that mirror?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. That's the mirror that they check out, make sure everything's looking good right before they leave.
I guess so.
And Samantha is pacing behind him and looking him over. So he's like, what? And she's like, I don't know. It's the hair. And he's like, what about the hair? She's like, it needs to be longer. And he's like, well, I don't have time to grow it. Right. So she's like, okay, well, I know, I did like that. So she's like, hang on, let me just try to fix it. So then she puts her fingers in it, teases his bangs all over the place, makes it kind of spiky in certain parts. And then she's like, okay, it's perfect. So he's like, great, okay, I'll walk around like this. He's all hunched over because he knows that if he moves at all, his hair's going to fall.
I know, but why does he have to be hunched over?
Angela comes downstairs, not looking at all like something you would wear at a fraternity party, but it's very Angela going to a fraternity party. She's like, your date's ready. And he says, wow, awesome. And Samantha's like, okay, helpful hint number 1, don't talk like a doofus. She says that awesome has been out since Brooke Shields said it on the Bob Hope special.
I wonder if that's got to be a real thing.
I have no idea, but I feel like awesome is one of those words that comes in and out.
It's almost like awesome's forever.
Yeah, it is now. I don't even think it's even considered slang anymore. And then if you notice behind Samantha, Judith Light, Angela Bowers, putting on her lipstick, which I thought was just an interesting movement for her to be doing in the background. Because she's almost I don't know if she was supposed to go to the mirror to put it on and didn't make it there. So she's just putting it on and pretending she's looking in the mirror. But it's just funny that she's standing behind Samantha and putting lipstick on. So she says it's been out since Brooke Shields said it on the Bob Hope show. And Angela says, right on.
Right on.
And Sam's like, I give up. So Tony's like, I don't know, she's right. I mean, we shouldn't go to this. What am I going to say to those frat guys? And Samantha says, you could always tell them about me. He's like, yeah, I'm going to tell them that you're living in a convent in Paraguay. So now Jonathan walks in from that back door in the little den area of the living room. And
Which is part of the open.
Yes, and so now this is his new part in the open. And he's like, hey, where are you guys going tonight? And they say, to a college fraternity party. And he's like, no, where are you guys going tonight?
Yeah, he's like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, there's no way.
And that's when Tony's like,
I know. He's like, I'm staying home. And she's like, no, come on. She brings him over to the mirror. And she's like, look in here. Like, is this a dude or is this a dude? And he's like, yeah, I'm a dude. So he's like, all right, well, let's hit the road. So he puts his arms out. She grabs his arm and they go out. And as they're leaving, they're singing some song.
Yeah.
I probably should have looked up what it is.
Bula, 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 bula.
Is that like a college chant song?
I don't know.
I have no
And
idea.
I think it's in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, actually.
Yeah, or maybe it's like an Animal House or just like one of those
that's what I'm
80s
saying. It's like that.
College movies. So they go out the front door, and as they leave, Sam's like, geeks. And then Jonathan says, totally. So it's cute that they're kind of bonding over how nerdy their parents are.
Yeah.
So now at the party, I think
What?
I think they're going to reuse this set for another episode in this season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're going to have to come back and check this. I think there's a Christmas episode coming up, and I feel like it's this same set. Okay, so they're in this, I don't know, fraternity house, and it's dressed so like they just really tried to throw together what a fraternity house would look like.
Yeah.
There's some trophies,
Right.
streamers, just hockey sticks like up against the wall,
Yeah, for no reason.
and like old mismatched furniture.
I know. What do you want?
They're standing there not talking
There's like
to
no
anyone.
parking signs on the wall.
Yes, yes. That's always the sign of like, this is a set dress for young people. We're just
Right.
going to have random street signs
Right.
that they've stolen at some point in their lives and put on the wall.
It's awesome.
They're not talking to anyone. This is totally me at a party.
Just standing behind the couch.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is a great party. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good. You want to go? And she's like, we've only been here for 15 minutes. So she's like, maybe we just need to mingle and get out. So then she walks over to someone and tries to say hi, and they get up and walk away from her. And she's like, oh, yeah, it is kind of getting late. Tony's like, I told you this is a mistake. We're totally out of our element here.
They're out of our decade, he says.
Yeah, we're out of our decade. She says, if we leave now, I can be in bed by 10 p.m.
This is you.
This is me. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to deny it.
I'm like thinking about
this is me.
What time you could be in bed.
This is me at the parties you used to have.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's a
I
good
was probably
point.
always
I'd have
out
the
by like
party.
9:30.
Oh, yeah, you were always leaving early.
Yeah, gotta go. Okay, now, so they're getting ready to leave when a guy comes down.
Mike
the steps.
Greenspan.
Is that his name? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's his name in the show.
Okay, he comes down. So, all right, so that's good to know. So I know that he's Mike, who is
He's
played
Mike.
by John Zarchin. Mm-hmm. Did I look him up? What was he the one name I didn't click on? What the heck?
I don't know,
Okay,
but
hang
I'm
on,
looking
let's
him up
see.
now, and it doesn't seem like he's in.
All right,
wait
yeah.
a minute. Well, he kind of stopped in 1998. Kind of stopped acting, but like
Wait, he's in something with David Duchovny because he's playing here on the. Oh, he's in Heathers, Country Club Keith. I mean, he's
what
in
is that?
Dangerous.
I
Oh,
don't
is
know
it
what that is.
Heathers?
No, country. Oh,
Oh,
that's his name in Heather's.
right.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm sorry.
All right, sorry.
No. right.
Bleh.
In the movie Heathers, he plays Country Club
Oh, I've seen
Keith.
Heather's a million times.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Here.
Which was right before Who's the Boss? Heather's.
Oh, really?
For him, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was before Who's the Boss. He was also in Charles in Charge, 21 Jump Street. Oh, California. That's why I'm seeing him in a trailer with David Duchovny. He plays a guy named Peter in the movie California with a K, not to be confused with Californication.
I was about to say, David Duchovny's in California?
He is, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you
was-
were getting confused for a minute. I was going to correct you.
No.
But I didn't realize that David Duchovny is actually in the movie California with a K,
Yes, he is.
as well as Californication.
Yeah. He did that like right before he did X-Files.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see that. Oh, yeah, 1993. Anyway.
So he comes down and he's like, hey, Mike's Greenspan. So he and Tony shake hands. He's like, oh, Tony Micelli, this is Angela Bauer. So then Mike leans into Tony and he's like, is this your lady? And he's
Right.
like, no, no, not all. So then he turns around
And Mike
says,
likes what he sees.
Yes, he says to Angela, you want to dance? Now, how old is Mike here? So 1961. So he is 11 years older than... He's 27 here.
Okay. Well, yeah, but what do you want?
No.
I mean, he's supposed to be a college student.
Right. He's supposed to be playing like 21 or so.
Right. But, you know.
Yeah. So he likes Angela, and how old is Angela here? She's supposed to be like 38.
Yeah, something like that.
So did they really portray women being pursued by younger men at this time? I feel like it wasn't as popular as it is now. Like there certainly wasn't.
Maybe.
Like Mona could be considered a cougar, but she's never called a cougar because I feel like that hadn't been coined yet.
No.
And this idea of like younger men being attracted to older women wasn't quite as mainstream, I think, on TV and movies as it is
I don't know.
now.
Graduate.
You're right. There was The Graduate.
Which was way before
But that
this,
was...
but still.
Yeah, it was way before
I'm
that.
sure there were a lot of other movies and TV shows.
I'm trying to think.
I know. I'm trying to think, too, besides Graduate.
Like maybe during the Golden Girls run, which I haven't seen every single one of those episodes, I'm sure they brought up that storyline at some point.
Right.
And much later, like on Hot in Cleveland, I know that that's brought up there. But yeah, I just feel like it wasn't so much, like it was much more common to see older men with younger women on TV and movies than it ever was to see older women with younger men. And side note, Katherine Hellman's husband was quite younger than she was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were married for up until her passing. Okay.
Oh.
Angela's like, sure. I mean, I don't have to be in bed by 10.
Like, why would she say that?
And then Mike's like, well, we don't have to decide that right now.
I know. Mike's like, okay,
Yeah.
where's this night going?
Yeah, he's like, I'm in. And then Tony's like, hey, Captain Good Times, keep it in neutral.
I know. Immediately protective.
So he's treating Angela almost like he would treat Samantha here. So then she's like, would you mind holding my purse? And she hands him her little pink purse on a gold chain.
I know.
And he's
he
now
holds
stuck
it.
with that for the rest of the night.
Like she can't dance with the purse.
Right, just sling it over. But it just makes it funny because now he's not only on his own, he's holding a pink purse. So Angela goes off and dances with Mike. Tony's walking around and he sees like a younger lady and she's waving to him. So he's like, oh, she says, nice purse. And he's like, oh, I'm just holding this for my boss. And then she says, is he here too?
Right, immediately assuming that it's a he.
A man. I know. Immediately, like it's so far-fetched to think that it could be a woman boss that she just assumes it must be a man with a purse.
And who is this? Is this Corey?
Yes, I believe this is Corey.
Okay.
The actress's name is Sarah
Buxton.
Okay. Yes. And the one thing I can see that she was on for the longest amount of time is a TV show called Sunset Beach, which I don't remember at all.
Okay.
Oh, it must have been a soap opera because it only ran from 1997 to 1999, but she was in 549 episodes.
Wow.
So it had to have been a
it had
soap.
to have been.
But
Oh,
yeah.
she was also in Bold and Beautiful.
Yes, and Days of Our Lives a bit
Oh, wow.
too.
Big time soap opera.
Yes.
She looked really familiar when I saw her, but I
She
couldn't
does,
tell
but I
from
think it's
where.
almost kind of like it's almost because she has like a Lori Loughlin, Chelsea Noble, like she
I
has
guess so,
that
yeah.
like look that looks just
Oh, she's
kind of
also
familiar.
in Less Than Zero. That's
Oh,
funny.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't we
interesting.
have somebody the other night in Less Than Zero?
Yes, which reminds me that there's going to be someone on this episode who's also in She's Out of Control, which is a Tony Danza movie. So I need to make sure I bring that up.
Oh, right.
So he's like, oh, no, he's a she and she's out there dancing. So he points over to where Angela's now having a really good time with Mike.
Right.
So Corey says, oh, so does this mean you're available? And he's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, hope you don't consider this too forward. And he's like, no, I mean, I'm flattered, but... And he's trying to, I think, tell her, I'm a bit older than you. And she says, I think you would be great for my mom.
It's like, wah, wah.
But hang on, Tony. This girl's really cute. Why don't you just, find out what the mom looks like?
Right.
She can't
You
be
never
that
know.
much older than you. Sam's only a few years younger than this girl. So now he's just like, oh, okay, thanks.
He moves on.
Now, what's funny is, so Sarah Buxton, let's see. She was born in 65. I'm real bad with math.
She's like 50. She's 65, you said?
Yeah.
So she's 56.
Okay. So Tony Danza's 70. I don't know anything about Tony Danza's personal life. Doesn't appear that he has like a public girlfriend or anything. But if he did, I wouldn't be surprised if she was a woman younger than 56 or 56.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how like this dynamic seems way less strange to us than Angela with a younger guy.
Yeah, that's true.
There are quite a few, like obviously Tony Micelli is not going to be able to get a young girl to date him as well as like a wealthier or more powerful man. Although, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's plenty of couples out there where their age span is great, even though we don't see it. But what we do see in a lot with older male celebrities is that they're with much younger women. Okay, so he's like, oh, your mom, how thoughtful. Thank you. And then he's like, Angela, trying to get her to go. And she's telling him, just mingle. So now we go to where Mike and Angela are dancing. And he's like, you're very pretty. And she's like, thank you. But there are so many pretty girls here tonight. And he's like, yes, but there's only one woman.
Hey, see, he recognizes that. Mike. Is it Mike? Mike.
Yes, he's Mike. Okay, so now another guy walks in and he says, oh, Tony. So this must be the one guy that Tony knows from this fraternity. And he calls him the Tonester.
Oh, hang on. I don't have that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't have this scene.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like this is kind of important
she
here.
dips him. He
dips Angela, and then it cuts right to when Linda starts talking to Tony. Okay, Patrick comes in. He's like, Tonester, and then Tony's like, where have you been? Patster.
That makes sense now for later when they... Anyway.
Yeah, and he says that he had to go out on an ice run. Okay, so this guy is Bill Calvert. His name is Patrick here, and he looked really familiar to me, but I can't tell what I would know him from.
Yeah, I mean, in his Internet Movie Database picture is blank. It's not real.
He hasn't acted, since 2004.
I know, but why isn't he in a picture?
But he's a train passenger in Spider-Man 2, so...
I know, and in Spider-Man, in 2002, he was a fireman.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he has a connection at the Spider-Man movie. Person who makes the Spider-Man movies, he knows them.
But so right before this, he did a TV series called The Slap Maxwell Story, and
no
he did
idea what
11
the hell that
episodes
is.
of
I know,
that,
I'm
and that's
looking
the
at that
only
now.
thing. And Fast Times, and he did 7 episodes.
Oh, it must have been when they did the first. I actually am familiar with the Fast Times TV show. They did it after the movie, but it didn't really pick up.
But he has kind of that like 80s guy look to him,
Which
sort
might be
of
why
like
he was in the Fast Times TV show.
Yes, and he kind of reminds me a bit of the guy from Weekend at Bernie's, the dark-haired guy who I think was also on Facts of Life.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay, so anyway, he says he was out on an ice run. So he introduces Tony to a few of his friends who have come down the stairs. And he's apologizing to Tony right now because he's like, normally our parties are bigger than this, but we are on probation right now.
And this all makes sense. Like this, I should have...
This should be in the Antenna TV version.
Yeah,
absolutely.
because now it makes sense about the... And it also is not in the Daily Motion.
Oh, okay.
Which is the same as Antenna TV. Because that's what I watched it on.
Yeah, it seems like Roku... I've even compared Roku and Crackle, and I feel like Roku has the least cut down episodes that I've found so far.
Yeah, I mean, Daily Motion and Antenna TV have the most...
Yeah.
The recent cut down.
He tells him it was a small matter of the dean's wife, a Polaroid picture in a brown envelope.
Whoa.
I know.
Man, that's like...
That doesn't seem like a small matter.
No.
That seems like a legal matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he says, some people are so touchy.
Like Polaroids back then, that was like taking a picture on your phone of
yeah,
a new
absolutely.
person.
Yeah.
Except probably couldn't be shared.
Instead of sending it in an email to millions of people, you put it in a brown envelope, and then I guess you just passed it around.
Sure.
So Patrick's trying to apologize to Tony because he thinks Tony isn't having a good time because the party's kind of lame. But Tony's just not having a good time because he's kind of lame.
Yes.
So when the friends come downstairs, he's like, here, let me introduce you to these guys. And he's like, this is the Rickster, and his date, the Pamster. And then he's like, and this is Linda. And he's like, oh, what kind of name is that? Because she was the only one that didn't
wasn't
get
a stir.
Yeah.
The Linster.
So then he's saying, Tony would be a really awesome asset to the Gamma House. He's athletic and he's smart. And then Linda says, oh, you're the one that used to play professional baseball. And he's like, yeah. And Patrick's like, he's a sports legend. Tony's like, I wouldn't say that, but you can.
Yeah.
So then Linda kind of takes Tony
that's
aside.
where I'm at. Okay,
Yes, okay. So that's where the Antenna
crazy.
TV one picks up. This girl's outfit is very cute, and I could see a teenage girl wearing this now.
Wearing it today.
Yeah, it's kind of like a crop top sweatshirt with a little jean skirt. So she goes up, she pulls Tony aside, and she's like, I hope you don't find this forward. And he's like, oh, wait a minute.
He's like, oh,
Does this
God.
have anything to do with your mother?
Like he pauses for a minute, like he's so like, no, I'm not doing this.
She's like, no, I just wanted to know if you want to dance. Now, this lady, her name is...
She is
lost
Lori.
it.
No.
Yes, Lori Werner. She plays Linda. And she didn't do a lot of acting. I think I could only find 4 credits on her. But it seems as though she has done some Broadway stuff and is a choreographer. And I wonder, most of her...
She was a Rhythm Nation dancer.
Yes, I noticed that. And
in
she
that Rhythm
danced
Nation
with Prince.
short. Yeah. Oh, so she was probably a dancer more than an actor.
What's funny here, because she mostly dances in this scene. So I wonder if they were like, oh, are you a dancer? Okay, great. We're going to need a dancer. But, I mean, she didn't need to keep up with Tony Micelli here. He's, basically swaying side to side.
And dancing with his purse.
I know. So Tony does what Angela could have easily done to begin with and slings the purse over himself.
Right.
And then starts to dance with Linda.
Right.
And Linda lies and says, you're a pretty good dancer.
I know.
And then he's like, oh, yeah, watch this. And so he starts, spinning around, and his little purse is flying everywhere. And he bumps into Angela.
Of course.
So then she turns around, and she's like, hey, show off. Are you having a good time? And then Tony's like, yeah, I mean, you were right. Who would have thought that you were right? I got out more, and I mingled, and now I'm having a good time. She's like, yeah, you should listen to me more often. So he says, I feel so Friday afternoon on the quad. And he said the only thing that's missing is the smell of Pete's pepperoni.
That's our signal. Let the dog out.
Okay, we're back. So he's saying he can almost smell the pepperoni. And then right then somebody's like, pizza's here. And he says, I'm in heaven.
I know. That's it. Tony's so happy now.
Now there are 2 other guys back here. And one says, they're over by the punch bowl. And one says, you know what goes great with pizza? And the other one says, yeah, vodka.
Oh, my goodness. Hang on. I have to stop you. Can you see the TV? Look at this boom mic, upper left side. It's crazy how
Oh, yes.
that is full boom mic. Sorry, the viewers probably don't care. But it's right after, for those of you watching along, it's right after Tony says it's heaven. I'm in heaven.
Yes, in the wide shot of them all dancing, there's a major boom. I feel like you had to have even seen that with a rounded corner of a television. That's a pretty bad one.
Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway,
so they go to these 2 guys standing by the punch bowl. Now let me see if I can figure out, because these guys aren't credited. I don't think they say their names here, but it must be Gene and Bob. Or
Bobby Brett as Gene and Mark Clayman as Bob.
Or it could be Brad. Who's Brad? All right, we'll have to see. Okay, so I think it might be Bobby Brett and Mark Clayman here. Gene and Bob. Okay, they say, you know what goes great with pizza? Yeah, vodka and whatever this stuff is.
I know, and they just start dumping it in there. I know. Who found that? And what is it?
This is flask
Could be poison. We don't know.
Yeah. Pours it into the punch bowl. So now we know we've set up the fact that the punch bowl is spiked.
It's completely spiked.
Patrick comes back over to Tony and says, let me take you upstairs. I want to show you we have a really awesome pool table. Do you play? And then Tony says, I've chalked a few cues in my time.
Which we all know.
We do.
Tony is quite the pool player from the 2 Tonys.
We do.
See?
And Angela knows that. She's like, oh, yeah, he does. So Patrick takes him on upstairs, and he says to Angela, you want to come along? And right then, some other cute boy walks by, and Angela's like, no, I think I'll just browse.
Browse?
And Tony says, you're drooling, Angela. But Angela's reliving a little bit of her college life right now, too.
I know. She is in the moment.
Yeah, because she's at a party, and a bunch of guys think that she's cute and she's not used to that happening. And she says, if mother could see me now. And then she's like, oh, boys. And she walks over and starts talking to them. So one of them...
She's in the zone.
Now, I don't know who any of these names are. One of them asks her, are you going to join us for the chugger? And she's like, oh, no alcohol for me. I'm driving.
Right.
And they're like, oh.
And we all know where this is going.
Right. But they're all like, come on. And she's like, okay, just so I'm not a party pooper, I'll play along with you, but I'm just going to have the punch. Then she puts a beer stein into the punch bowl and starts chugging. And that's the end of it.
Just a chug with them, which is very nice, but it's very nice.
It was very cute. Now the frame does that little spin to let us know that time has passed.
Yeah.
And Angela is wasted.
Yeah, she's on the coffee table.
She's on the coffee table screaming, I feel good.
Right, which is it's a James Brown reference. Like the music, it's like you hear the I Feel Good by James Brown playing in the background.
She's telling everyone to get in the pool and they're pretending to swim.
Right.
And
she's like, get in, the water's fine. She plays an excellent drama.
Oh my gosh,
I will say that.
This is fantastic. I don't know if I would have recognized how good this was when I watched it originally.
No, there's no way. But now, as an older person, you can be like, wow, this is kind of how a crazy drunk. And not only is it like she's being an excellent drunk, but it's like a drunk person who doesn't get drunk.
Right. It's a perfect drunk Angela.
Right. It's exactly what it is. That's an exact great way to put it.
So everybody's dancing along with her. They're having a great time. She's the life of the party. She's doing the doggy paddle. She's doing the backstroke. And then somebody walks in the door, an older gentleman with a security guard. And one of the kids says, Dean Brown.
Wow.
And so the music cuts off quickly, but she keeps going. And she's taken her jacket off now, and she's flinging it around in her arm, and she's going, Dean Brown!
Right, Dean Brown, that's a dance or something. That's so funny.
So he tells her to get down off the coffee table, and she's like, you are the man, get down, get funky, do the breaststroke. And she's doing the breast. And everyone in the room is like,
stop dancing, they're quiet.
So he's like, this party is so loud, I could hear it all the way from my house. And she's like, yeah, all right. She's very proud of them.
Right.
So he's like, this is enough to get your probation extended. This is a violation. You have loud music, you have drinking, and worst of all, you've hired an exotic dancer.
I know, which is like, what?
And she's still dancing, spinning her jacket around in the background, and then she stops, and she's, wait a minute, Bunky. I don't even know what bunky means, but it's funny. And she says, are you saying you think I'm a stripper? And he says, yes. And she says, why, thank you.
I know. She's like, why is she flattered by that? She's like, oh, thank you.
And then she starts dancing again.
Right.
Dean Brown's very angry. He wants the party to break up. And she gets down off the coffee table and she's like, come on, how dare you come in here and rain on my parade? She's like, these are me and my buddies. We're having fun. She's like, who do you think you are? And he's like, I'm the man who's seriously considering revoking this charter.
Uh-oh.
So now she's trying to squeeze on him a bit to get him. She calls him Cuddles. She's like, you wouldn't do that, would you, Cuddles? And right here, when she does this part, I see Shelley Pfefferman from Transparent, that character.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see that a bit?
Yeah. I do, actually.
And she's like, you're so cute. I just want to take a Polaroid of you. And she's squeezing his cheeks. Then she takes his tie off and she
starts unbuttoning his shirt.
She starts unbuttoning his shirt all the way down to the fourth button. So that's when he's like, okay, you're out of here. And he tells the security guard to take her away. And she's like, no, what? So the security guard grabs her, starts pulling her out, and then she starts chanting, Attica.
I know.
Attica. I didn't know that reference. I had to look it up. I mean, once I looked it up, I saw that it was for the prison rights, the Attica prison rights. But then I watched the whole clip from the movie Dog Day Afternoon.
Right, Dog Day Afternoon is really what I remember it from, which is
why they're doing it in the movie.
Right.
So they take her out, and everybody's kind of just standing around, and what is his name? Oh, Mike Greenspan's like, what a bummer.
Yeah, and then Tony comes downstairs not knowing
completely oblivious.
anything what's happening. Not have any idea what's happening with his purse.
Yep, Tony's still carrying his purse with Patrick, and he's like, "Oh, I love that table." So they must have been upstairs playing pool during all
it must have been a good pool session.
And nobody noticed that the music turned off suddenly.
I guess I don't know.
So Tony's like, "This is a great fraternity," and then some guy gets up and says, "It was a great fraternity, but it's not anymore, thanks to your date."
Whoa.
And he's like, "What, Angela? What happened?" And he says, "She told the dean off. She got busted and she got our charter revoked." And Tony says to Patrick, "Is this going to affect my chances of getting in?"
Becoming a gamma guy.
But also Tony must be like, "What the hell? I've been gone for like a half an hour."
I know,
how
but
long
like,
could he have been up there?
I think Tony really liked that pool table so much that he's ready to be a gamma guy.
Yeah, he doesn't. It doesn't.
He's like,
care.
"Oh, yeah, that's all right. I'm
just
in."
going to be over there playing pool.
Right.
I forgot to talk about Dean Brown.
Oh yeah, Dean Brown.
Alan Oppenheimer. He was born in 1930. He's 91. So
Wow.
when I
Good
did
for
the
him.
math here, he's only 58 when he's playing Dean Brown.
Oh, okay.
That is not what 58 looks like today.
No, he looks a lot
David
older,
Duchovny
right?
is 60.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, that's a good point.
wow.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, and if you look at his
Unless
credits,
they're
he's still doing stuff.
He is 2021.
I mean, what did you say?
He-Man
He was
and the Masters
90,
of the-
91?
91, yeah.
And he's still acting.
Still working, yeah.
He-Man, the
This-
Masters
I mean,
of the
this is voice
Universe.
work, but still.
I know, but
Yeah.
but he was in Toy Story 4. Yeah, I mean, he's still doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Good for him.
Yeah.
320 credits on IMDb.
Wow, that's huge.
And his first credit was in 1963.
Huh, all right.
Okay, so they cut to Angela in the police. There's
know.
like, it's like the
It's
campus
so
security office with a campus security officer, and he's doing a little captain's log. And he says it's October 7th. So this is November 1st playing October 7th because it
Okay,
actually
all
aired
right.
later than that. Maybe there's still hope for a Halloween episode then, but I don't
October
think so.
7th, 9 p.m., because he says 2,100
Right,
hours.
he does. It's only 9 p.m.
That's what 2,100 hours is, and that's what he says. 9
awesome.
p.m., they're just loaded at 9 p.m.
And he says that he received several complaints of rowdiness at the Pi Delta Gamma house. So he went over there where he found rowdiness. And he said
Found a woman in a purple outfit dancing on a coffee table is what he found.
And he said that he detained a female individual, and she grabs the microphone out of his hand and starts singing, "We gotta get out of this place."
I know.
Then he tells her to stop, so she starts singing "Stop in the Name of Love."
I know.
It's all fantastic. This whole episode is just worth it for the Judith.
It really is. And she's great.
She is so good.
She's so good.
And it's funny because when she first started this show, she was nervous about doing comedy because she had mostly done drama. But at this point, she's got the comedy down.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
doing a great job.
She did such a good job.
Yeah. So she tells him, I demand to see the warden. And just then, Tony walks in, still wearing her purse.
Yes. Well, he's not going to let go of the purse.
No,
Come on.
of course
Tony.
not.
It's Tony.
He can't lose it. And she says to him, "Oh, hi, warden. Has anyone ever told you that you look just like Tony? Only he smiles more because this Tony looks very angry."
Angry, yeah.
And this may be my favorite part of the episode. He says, "Angela." And
then
she
she's-
says, "Tony."
It's so great. But then, like, he turns to the officer, and then what does she do? She, like, passes out on his back for a second. Like, what is that? What's happening there?
Yeah, she just lays her
She
head.
like, falls asleep for a second. Which I know that feeling.
Oh yeah,
I've been
Like
there.
anywhere,
but-
any place you can put your head down. For
I know.
a
It's like,
minute.
let me rest.
Right. I don't even drink that much, but I just know that feeling because I'm often tired. So he starts to apologize for Angela to the security officer, and then the security officer gets up to go do something.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out of here.
And he turns to Angela and he's like, "I'm shocked. I'm
And
appalled." Right. And Angela says, "I'm getting out of here." And so she goes over to the window behind the desk and starts to try to pry it open.
Like, what's the end game
I
there?
don't
Like,
know.
you're going to crawl out the window and then what?
Right. She was going to get
stupid.
caught halfway through there, legs in the air. So Tony's trying to stop her, but when the officer comes back in, it looks as though he could have been trying to help her. So now he's like, all right. He's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, the Great Escape is what he says.
Yeah. And Tony's like, I can
Which
explain.
actually, I think was a movie, right? The Great Escape?
Probably. Crap. There's too many references.
I know,
in this episode.
there is.
So now they've both been thrown into an actual cell. And Angela's purse is hanging off a little pole next to them. So they're sitting there. Angela's taken her shoes off. She's got bare feet. She's all slouched over with her head on Tony. She must have passed out because now she's coming to. And she opens her eyes and Tony's like, all right, Angela, just take it easy and don't try to move until you're ready. And then she says, I think I'm going to be sick. And he says, you're ready. And he slides out from underneath her.
I know. Just a side note, The Great Escape was a film in 1963. And the film was it basically is about a mass escape by a British Commonwealth prisoners of war from a German POW camp.
Oh, interesting.
So I think that maybe
that
was
has
a
to be
reference.
what they're referencing.
I always, like, when I saw this episode, I'm like, The Great Escape, that's a reference to something, but I didn't look it up till right now.
That one I totally missed.
Yeah. Anyway.
So she doesn't get sick, and she's like, what are we doing in jail? And then Tony tells her, think. And she says, ow, it hurts.
I know. Can't think.
So he's like, let me try to refresh your memory. According to legend, which you've already become, you danced on a table, shaking everything in front of 37 impressionable young men. And she's like, everything? And he says, everything but the tassels. You fondled the dean's cheeks, practically undressing him, which caused him to revoke the fraternity's charter. And Angela's like, oh no, Tony, I ruined everything for your chance to be in a fraternity. And I ruined your full college experience. So she's like, well, you must think of me. And he's like, I actually don't know what to think because I've been living with you for 4 years. And I've never known you to have such a taste for demon rum. And then she's like, no, I take exception to that because all I had was some punch. And then she's like, actually, I had a lot of punch. And then they both realize somebody must have spiked the punch.
Go figure.
Yes. So then Tony's like, oh no, so you were just a victim. But like, it's just funny. She must have really chugged that quickly because she went from completely sober to wasted. There was
she chugged.
She did. There was
and then
no
how
in
much
between.
alcohol those guys pour into it? Like they poured a whole bottle of vodka and then whatever the other stuff was. We don't know.
Right. So there was never any in between of like, oh, that's making me feel weird. I shouldn't have any more of that. And then so he's like, you're just a victim. And she's like, yes. She's really feeding into it. And he's like, those dirty, rotten kids. He's like, you could have gotten behind the wheel. You could have...
taken off more than your jacket.
Yes, taken off more. And then
whatever
he's like,
that means.
He's like, you didn't, did you? Obviously not, Tony. She's still wearing her shirt unless he
I know, but
he's
like, well, you did, of course not. And then she like rolls her eyes like, oh.
Well, no, she looks down to check to see what she's wearing. And then
so that's her way of saying, okay, I didn't.
That she actually...
Okay.
So maybe she's checking to see if she's still wearing her bra or something.
Didn't take more off and doesn't.
Yeah, no, I think she's actually checking because she's not sure. And then she realizes that she doesn't.
You're right.
She
You're
still
right.
has all
And
of her
then,
clothes on.
okay.
Yeah.
That actually makes more sense than what I thought. I thought at some point that Angela got completely naked and then put everything back on. That's what I went with.
So then he's like, what a night. Like if I would have thought back at 8:00 when Sam was telling us, messing up my hair for us to get ready to go, that this is how we were going to end up. Okay, so that was 8:00.
And this is 9, what did I say, 9:30?
Well, maybe when he was doing the captain's log, he was saying that it was 9:00 when he went to the house.
Okay.
But still, this has been a very short period of time.
Yeah, it is. Angela got really drunk really fast.
And Angela, yes, absolutely. Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. She says the last time I did anything crazy like this was when I went to Woodstock. And he's like, wait a minute, you went to Woodstock? And she's like, yeah, peace, love, and flower power. And then he's like, I just can't imagine you grooving to Country Joe. And she says, who?
Right, exactly. She has no Country Joe and the Fish.
I don't know that, but that they were at Woodstock.
It's a group, yeah.
So she says,
one of the groups at Woodstock, yeah.
He's like, I thought you went. And she's like, well, I did, but I didn't really feel like I belonged. And I took one look at the rain and the mud and the line for the bathroom, and I went and checked into a motel. I hear you,
Even
Angela.
then, the music was so loud.
That would have been... Yeah. So
what is a concert?
So she checked into a motel, and the music was still so loud that she couldn't finish her poli-sci paper. And he's like, of course you took homework to Woodstock.
I know. Oh, it makes Angela sound so lame.
Then he tells her the story of how, while she was a flower child at Woodstock, he was a fish kid working for Mrs. Rosini at the fish market in Brooklyn.
Okay, well, so he recently worked for Mrs. Rosini again.
Yeah.
As we can remember. So how much younger is he than Mrs. Rosini? Not that much younger, right?
13. So when it's kind of vague as to how old Mrs. Rosini is.
It is. I guess so, yeah.
But also, he's working for Mrs. Rosini when the show starts.
Right.
He's driving the fish truck before he gets the job with Angela.
Oh, so like it was maybe that's what he was doing leading up to.
Yeah, I think it was just something like he would work for her whenever he needed money or something, or like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't want to dig too deep, but I just
like when he was a kid, and then obviously he didn't have a job after
then he
not
did
playing
it again,
baseball
and
anymore. Yes, and then he was helping her because she needed help. Yeah,
right. But she was selfish and
that episode. But we have determined that the actress who plays Mrs. Rosini was 43 years old when she shot the pilot of Who's the Boss. But they don't really say how old Mrs. Rosini is supposed to be.
So you're supposed to think that she's older.
Yeah, like 20 years older than Tony, I'd say. Okay, so he would see these guys sitting at the Picken Avenue bus stop waiting for the bus to go to Brooklyn College. And he would just like stare at them, and they'd be having such a good time, and they look so cool in their suede jackets with the little suede patch, the corduroy jackets with the little suede patches on the elbows.
Yeah, see, and I thought that was more of like a professor. That's a college professor look, the corduroy jacket with the patches.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just kind of an academic look.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And, but maybe they see the professors wearing them, so then they get them because they want to be like
That's true.
I don't know.
I just...
So he would look at them and be jealous and really want to get on that bus with them. And then he'd hear Mrs. Rosini screaming, Tony, the fish aren't going to gut themselves.
Oh, God, that's terrible. They had gut fish.
And he'd watch them get on the bus and drive away, and he'd go back to his fish store.
And he was wishing he was on it.
Yes, he was. And Angela says, you had as miserable an adolescence as I did. And he's like, well, it wasn't that bad. I just didn't go to college. So Angela says, well, it all worked out. Look at where we are today.
I know.
He's like, yeah, we're in the big house.
Right.
But Angela says, 4 years ago, I would not have been able to laugh about this. So it's good. He's changed her a bit. Right. She's changed him a bit. And they're growing. And he's like, well, at least we are in a holding cell of higher learning. And she says, if I had to be in the slammer with anyone, I'm glad that it's you.
No, that's very nice.
Yeah. So then they start doing this little Bugsy Mugsy thing. Crap, I should have looked that up too. I have no idea what that's a reference to. Do you?
Oh, yeah. Bugsy Mugsy.
What is it?
It was a very old cartoon, a Looney Tunes cartoon. It's a Friz Freleng cartoon.
Who was Friz Freleng?
He was the one who directed all the old Warner Brothers, like Bugs Bunny and all that stuff. So yeah, it was an old Warner Brothers cartoon.
That's fitting because we just watched Space Jam tonight with the kids.
And actually, Bugs Bunny was in Bugsy and Mugsy.
Oh, okay.
He was Bugsy,
I believe.
That makes sense. Yeah, so.
Okay, yeah, I had no idea. I didn't know if it was like a, I don't know.
I mean, it's 1957,
spy,
so
yeah.
I can't see how you would remember that. So.
Okay, so right then, the security officer comes up and said, "Oh, did I ever say who the security officer was?"
I
didn't
think we did. I don't think we did.
Fred. Here we go. Cliff Bemis is how I'm gonna say.
And I'm sure there were people out there like, "Oh my gosh, they never mentioned who the officer was."
I know. What jerks.
And we don't know who he is either, but whatever.
Let me look here. Does this say he's on Younger? Oh, so that was a show that was pretty recent in 2019. Again, I don't really think there's anything that he was on steadily that we would recognize him from.
Remember him. Yeah.
But yeah, he was in a lot of episodes of Dallas, Newhart, and then recently not recently, 1998, he was in a show called United. I've never heard of that. A couple episodes of One Life to Live. His name, again, Cliff Bemis or Bemis. Okay, so he says, which one of you is the tonester?
The tonester, which to me is foreign. Like, I was like, the tonester, like, when I was watching, I kind of got it. Like, I'm like, okay, so, like, the college guys were like, tonester.
Oh,
right,
because you hadn't seen
but
that
I hadn't
clip
seen
earlier.
the clip that you saw.
Right, exactly.
Because I was watching the antenna
I know.
TV and also the, whatever the other version.
Yeah, that's why it is annoying. And also, you didn't know that they had already had a probation issue, which is why
would explain,
they were really worried about the dean coming in. Okay. So they're like, Patrick says, Tone man, you're doing time.
Doing time.
And he says, what happened? And then Mike is with him also, Mike Greenspan.
Right, he knows what happened. Mike knows what happened.
Yes.
He was there.
He gives Angela a little wave through the bars,
Right.
and then she's now all embarrassed because she thinks that she probably looks terrible, and she's sober.
Right. And she's ready to throw up.
She is ready to throw up. I'm surprised that she didn't already throw up, but I guess they don't really show that on TV.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. He says, and also she probably has to pee really bad by now,
Right.
unless they let her. Okay. He's asking how it's going with the frat house, and they're like, oh, the probation's been extended for 6 months, but we're not going to lose our charter because we agreed to kick out the 2 guys who spiked the punch. Yes, so that's
those
good.
2 are gone.
Yeah. Angela says, oh, good, I'm so glad. And Mike says, when you're glad, I'm glad.
I know, and she's not having it.
No. She just
poor
walks
Mike.
away. 'Cause I know.
Mike still thinks he has a connection.
Angela should have gone for it. I mean, I don't want her to date anyone but Tony at this point, but Okay, so
Like,
Pat,
what the hell, right?
Yeah, why not? Just like Gus, have a little fun because it's going to take you guys another 3 years anyway. It's
Yeah,
going to be a
really.
lonely time. So Pat tells him, okay, so we're good. We're ready to go. Everybody thinks she'd be a great asset to the fraternity. And then Tony's like, I've been thinking this over, and I just don't think this fraternity stuff is for
Because
me."
that's what every fraternity wants, a 30-something-year-old man
Yes.
to join.
And we haven't really touched on that part, but I'm sure there aren't age limits, and I'm sure there
No.
have been older guys that have joined. It makes me remember the movie Old School.
All right, Old School.
Which is fantastic.
Like, if anybody could join a fraternity in their mid-30s, it would probably be me.
It'd be you, yes.
Well,
it
yes,
would have
but
been
I mean,
you, for
me
sure.
and Tony.
Yes.
I could totally hang with a fraternity
my
in my
gosh.
mid-30s.
In your mid-30s, for sure. Yeah, so I could see, and plus, like they were saying, you can buy beer, which Tony isn't going to buy beer for them.
No, that's true, which I would have. I would have made that mistake.
But but it would also kind of be interesting to have like somebody a little older in the house to kind of
Like keep things in order.
like or just like a mentor, I guess,
Yeah, I guess so,
like
yeah.
a big brother. But yes, we didn't really touch on the fact that would a 38-year-old man join
It'd still be a
fraternity.
party every night. I guess it would be a bit much.
And this could have, again, gone in a very bad direction for Angela because he would have been around a lot of sorority girls as well. Okay.
That's true. That's a good point.
And he says to Patrick, what are you going to do for fun? Hang out at home? And Tony looks back at Angela, who's now
like,
rubbing her feet.
I know. I know. It's so funny. She is. She's been in the heels for at least 4 hours.
And he's like, yeah. And then Mike says, if I had a woman like that at home, I'd be there too.
Mike thinks that's what Angela does every night.
Yeah.
She dances on the coffee table and sings and gets completely loaded. And then I don't know if she's impressed or not.
No,
but
I
it doesn't
think
look
she's
like
still
it.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so as Patrick and Mike leave, Patrick says to Mike, come on, man, the woman's trouble. And Mike's like, I like trouble. So Tony sits back down on their little cell bed. And Angela's like, I don't get it. I mean, I thought you wanted that. What happened to, the college experience? And Tony's like, well, I got a Frisbee and I got a stereo and you've got reckless abandon coming out of your ears.
Yes.
And he's like, if your life is working, who wants to be 19 again? And she's like, and then, I mean, that's a fantastic line right there. Who does want to be 19 again? And she's like, oh, Tony, I really think I'm going to be sick.
I know. And then he just jumps up.
Yeah. And they fade to black. During the tag, this is so cute. Oh, we get another one of the, who's the boss will be back in a moment. Stick around.
Stick around.
So when they come out for the tag, Mona and Angela come out of Angela's office, which we still haven't seen. And Mona is carrying a suede jacket a corduroy jacket with the suede patches on the elbows.
Oh, they're very excited.
I know. They're so excited. They're like, it's perfect. He's going to love it. It's so great. And Angela says, we have to put it somewhere where he's going to see it. Mona says, hang it by the mirror. He's always looking in there. Which is true.
She's right. We had that discussion earlier about the mirror.
So Angela runs over and hangs it on one of the hooks over by the mirror, and then they call Tony downstairs. And at first he's like, I'm studying. And they're like, it's important. Come down. So he comes down the stairs, and they're both standing there by the front door next to the jacket. And they're like, do you notice anything different? And they're smiling. And he's like, I don't know, you got your teeth cleaned? And they're like, no, take another look. And they're motioning towards the mirror. And he's like, oh no, are there fingerprints? So he's like trying to clean the mirror. And then he sees the jacket finally. And he's like, oh, it's so Brooklyn College. And he puts it on. It fits perfect. He's very excited. I think he says hubba hubba again.
Hubba hubba. Hubba hubba.
And he gives them both a big hug. And then the phone rings. So Tony goes over and he's rubbing his face on the little suede elbow pads like a kitten would rub its face on something.
He's so happy he's got the jacket.
So the phone rings. He goes and answers it. And he's like, oh, yeah, hang on. It's Mike Greenspawn. And Angela's like, oh, those Gamma guys never give up. And she's walking over to the phone, but Mona says, hang on, that's actually for me. And then she takes the phone and says, hi, Mike. And that's the end of the episode.
So how did Mona get involved with Mike?
I'm guessing
I'm so confused.
At some other point, Mike called. Mona intercepted the phone call. And now she's got a date with Mike. Or she's already been out with Mike. And now this is another, he's calling back for her.
Mike's already taken it to Pound Town.
Yes.
With Mona. And
which didn't
he's
take
coming back for more.
Pound Town is right next to the garage apartment.
It is.
You don't have to go far.
You don't have to go far.
Yeah. Okay, so who went first with rating? I don't know.
I don't know. I thought I had it figured out.
I did, so you go first.
I go first with rating. Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, sure.
No, I really did, but I was confused. But I gave this one a 7.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of funny. And the Angela stuff is just priceless.
Yeah.
Like
So good.
she played a great drunk,
Yeah.
like dancing on the table and really like owning it. I mean, it was like TV drunk, like,
right?
You know what I mean, like over the top and blah blah blah, whatever. But it was really funny, and the fact that Tony kind of kept it together the whole time, and then he goes and bails her out, or not bails her out, but like goes to jail with her,
right?
I guess. Yeah. But yeah, overall, it was like a full entertaining episode that made me laugh in several spots. Yeah. So I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I even went 7.5.
Okay, I had a feeling you
Yeah,
did.
and only because of the Angela parts. Like, they're just so funny.
They are. They're really good.
They're great.
They're good.
And it was, so I do like that him going to college has given some new, unique storylines, but it was a good way to work in Angela into the storyline. As well. Which I thought
we
was
discussed
good.
that offline, that the whole college thing has given some new storylines and like kind of refreshed the whole. I mean, they're in season 5. Like, we don't really think about that.
Right.
Like, we are in season 5 now, and we went through all these like storylines or whatever. So it's like to kind of keep it fresh and like rejuvenate it.
Yeah.
I wonder if like college was planned to kind of rejuvenate and create all these new
Probably.
stories or whatever, but they're doing a good job so far.
Yeah.
Of
And at this point, the ratings for Who's the Boss are still very good.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
I
they're
didn't
still
know for
great
sure. So
at this point. So yeah, I thought that was really nice because it incorporated her as well. The kids had some cute parts. Obviously, they're not in it much, but
Right.
it's because it takes place mostly outside of the house.
Who's the boss around here? Me? Or my mother? Or maybe it's you?
I gotta go with Tony for the boss on this. And I don't want to only because I feel like it's been Tony for the last few episodes. But I think it is. Because even though Angela pushed him into going, he was, like he was holding her purse. He was the one that stayed clear and focused. He was the one that had to go bail her out. And then he was the one that ultimately made the decision, which is what he thought to begin with, which
Right.
is that the fraternity isn't for him.
right. And I will have to agree with you 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who kept it together the whole time.
Yeah, he did.
Angela lost her shit. She drank of the punch, not knowing it was
Right. It wasn't really
now.
her
And
fault, but
come on, like if she's like, oh, I'm gonna drink down the punch in solidarity with you guys while you
Right.
guys drink down your beer or whatever. She had to have tasted the alcohol in the punch.
But like
I mean,
you said, she chugged it, so maybe
I
by
know,
the
but
time
whatever.
I know.
but she couldn't keep it together. So Tony did, and then he went. Yeah, you're right. He went and bailed her out and stayed with her in college prison or whatever that was. And you know what I mean? Like he was the one. Like without him, they would have been completely lost. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Tony as the boss as well.
All right, great, very good. So the next episode we're gonna cover is Yankee Doodle Micelli. I don't remember if I enjoy this episode or not.
I don't remember this episode at all, but
Yeah.
that's gonna be my
I-
MO for
if
the rest of the seasons.
If I remember correctly, we're gonna see Tony Danza playing Tony Micelli's grandfather.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, that should be
I
interesting.
think.
Okay,
that's
I
this
can't wait
episode.
then.
Yeah. All right, so you can reach us at Who's the Boss Podcast on Instagram, or go to Who's the Boss Pod 1 on Twitter. On Facebook, our page is the Who's the Boss Podcast page, or go to anchor.fm/WTB Podcast. And there you can leave us a voice message. That's it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that is.
All right, thanks, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give a big thumbs up and tell all your friends. And maybe you can tell your grandma, your mother, and your sister or brother. Maybe you have no siblings. Tell your dog and cats. Bye.